Hello, everyone. My name is Karen Joy Pangantihon, and I am the founder of Cinephiles Club. Cinephiles Club is based in New York City, and you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, where people just come together to meet up in the city to watch movies because it is very, very hard to meet up in the city. And what better way to just connect with people over the movies and share that camaraderie. So today we have something very special going on where we are doing a recap of our 2018 favorite movies. And today I am joined by two very, very special fellow cinephiles. Tatiana Rain, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Tatiana Rain is a musician based in New York City, born and raised, Corona Queens.
Yeah.
You can find Tatiana Rain on Instagram, Facebook. It's at TATINARE.
That is not how you spell my name.
Please correct me.
It's TATIANA. Rain. Oh, is that even on? No?
Keep talking.
So it's at TATIANA. Rain, REIGN.
Perfect. And you did have an album out.
Yeah, it's called the Shadow EP, and it was released in November.
Perfect. And you can find that on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, SoundCloud, all of the major music platforms.
Yeah.
So please follow her. We also have Nicole Tawaldi Dorman.
Yes.
I know that was the first time I've called you that.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, it's going to be my name. I need to decide if I want it hyphenated or not. We'll see if I'm team hyphen or not.
Nicole is new to New York City, but is also the co-founder, co-host of Cinema Therapy. So she's also a very important cinephile. So we're just going to get into it. How do we feel about 2018 and movies? I think personally it's a great year for film and TV and Netflix in general.
Yeah, a lot of diversity.
Yeah, absolutely. It's getting better and better.
It is.
Do you guys have any favorite movies of the year that you can think of at the top of your head?
For sure. I would say Sorry to Bother You
I was
was
thinking the same thing.
so innovative, right? Like, I found it really interesting. I feel like there's so many stories that can predict how it's going to go. This one, it went in a completely different direction.
Huge plot twist.
For sure.
But you can't give it away because it's the entire movie.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
It's so good.
I won't ruin it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but there's a lot of color in the film. Tessa Thompson gives a great performance. I find her to be one of the sexiest, most sultry actors out there. I really love her. And yeah, like it's so great. I think it was a great discussion on capitalism, on where this world is going if capitalism goes unchecked. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I love Lakeith Stanfield.
Yes.
I'm so glad that he's getting the recognition that he deserves because he was my favorite character on Atlanta. And ever since Atlanta, he has been in so many different things, and I'm just very happy to see his success.
Yeah.
What did you think of the movie, Tatiana?
I liked it. I actually saw it twice. The first time I saw it, I felt like there was a lot to chew. Like, I didn't exactly, at first understand what was happening. And then I saw it with a friend who's really into symbolism. And, they basically just opened up my eyes to a lot of the symbolism in the movie and a lot of, little things about, what the employees were drinking or about, why some of the characters were turned into certain things. I'm trying not to give away the story, but yeah. So I just thought it was a really great movie. Huge plot twist, blew my mind. I love the movie. So
Yeah, I also loved Armie Hammer.
Oh my gosh.
I usually don't like him.
Really?
But I mean, I think he's so hilarious and he plays that part so well.
Yeah.
I'm in love with him since Call Me By Your Name. I think he gave a stellar performance. Yes, I thought the role that he played in that movie was perfect for him. It gave me some perspective and how far he can take his characters.
Yeah.
It was really cool. Yeah,
That's hilarious.
I was into it.
Yeah, so that's definitely in the top I couldn't come up with a top 10. So I have like a top 30.
I noticed.
I know. I have a lot of honorable mentions, but that is definitely in the top 10. Also on my list, actually, Tatiana, what is your favorite? Can you think of one at the top of your head?
I liked Crazy Rich Asians and what was it, Love, Simon? Yes. And they're like really feel-good movies. So like I feel a little weird saying those were my favorites, but I saw them so many times. So it was like definitely my favorites. I love like how Love, Simon like dealt with the topic of like homosexuality, but not in this like, I guess like traumatic like way. It was very like, well, we love you, like, and you made some mistakes, but we love you. And it was very open and light, and it was just a love story at the end of the day. Absolutely. It wasn't like anything else. I thought it was really beautiful. I cried. I saw it like 3 times. So.
I did not see Love, Simon.
Oh, you definitely need to see it. I encourage everyone to see it. I found it very heartwarming, and honestly, like, you know, the more LGBT movies we can get, the better, because like there's just been so much of the same sort of relationship over and over. We like that's an easy way to introduce diversity into film, and I feel like a lot of those films end up being a focus on the sexuality portion and not really the romance that you see between two individuals. And Love, Simon was just such a gorgeous love story. Like I felt like it was so, like the tagline of the film was like everyone deserves a love story, and I feel like it's so important for teenagers growing up to see themselves portrayed in film and feeling that love exhibited there, and just seeing how beautiful love can be. Like I like instead of it just being like a harsh, like difficult, like identity that you have to strive to put through in the world, like just, you know, finding your person.
Right. It was a part of the movie. It just wasn't like the main focus.
Exactly.
It was like, yes, we're addressing this and how hard it was for him to kind of come out, but it also was about just him falling in love. And I was like, I love this. This is heartwarming, and I'm going to tell all my friends about it.
Yeah, your face is like
I love that
just
movie so
about
much.
This movie.
I loved it so much. So
I cried for sure.
Same.
Really?
Yeah.
Jennifer, was it Jennifer Garner in that movie made me cry.
Yes.
Plays his mother, right?
Yes.
Which
And she's a psychiatrist or psychologist. She like
blowing my mind though.
It was really good.
Jennifer
She did
Garner playing the mother of a teenager.
I know.
Like, making me feel very old.
I mean, that's real.
Yeah. And what was the other one you said?
Crazy Rich Asians.
Crazy Rich Asians. And it's just like a Cinderella story. But I love that the cast wasn't like all white, honestly.
There is something to be said about that. Yes, the cast was all Asian, but also, I mean, I don't know how I feel specifically about this, but a lot of backlash is that it's all light-skinned Asians. And that might be a very controversial thing to say.
Okay.
But I don't know if I agree with that. Like,
They did have some like Indian people and stuff in the movie. They weren't like the highlight, but they did have like if you've seen the movie enough, like you notice like a lot of the characters surrounding them aren't all just light-skinned Asians.
Light-skinned or mixed.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, I loved it. I heard that in China it didn't do so well because they felt like it wasn't an accurate representation of them.
That's fair.
But it's also not a representation of Chinese. It's like it is very much about like from an American Chinese,
right,
Asian American's perspective, which is very specific. I love the mahjong scene in that film. It was very emotional for me.
I love the wedding scene.
The wedding scene is absolutely ridiculous.
I loved it.
I cried.
I mean, I loved it too. But
I love that Kina Grannis was in it too. Like, I love how they set the music and the tone and the scene. It was just beautiful, and it was over the top. But I don't even care. Like,
exactly,
it was amazing.
Like, if you're gonna go for it, go for it.
It was all kind of
I mean?
over the top. Though,
yeah, and I think that was very intentional.
Yeah.
Which is part of the charm and the appeal. Yeah. I love that actress, Michelle. I can't pronounce her last name. I'm going to butcher it. The mother-in-law. She's so amazing to watch.
Apparently the emerald ring in the movie is her ring.
Oh my
wow, I didn't know
gosh.
that.
Yes, like she was against the ring that they brought from props. She was like, no, that's not going to work. How about this ring for my personal collection?
Wow.
And I, as someone who has an emerald engagement ring, I was in love. I thought it was so beautiful.
Oh yeah,
that is
it's
beautiful.
gorgeous.
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
I love that.
Who was your favorite? What was your favorite storyline in that one?
Or conflict.
I love Gemma Chan's
yes.
storyline. The cousin the rich cousin,
Oh,
the
yeah.
beautiful rich
Yeah, yeah,
cousin
yeah.
with the philandering husband.
Yeah, that was great. I like how she like kicked him to the dirt eventually. At the end.
It was so sad though.
Yeah, it was.
It seems like very tragic, her storyline. Like, it
Yeah.
seemed like there was a lot of things in her life. Like, she had this fame, she had this incredible beauty, but she just wasn't able to get the one thing she wants, like a husband who was there to support her and didn't feel, some sort of conflict with her that she couldn't control, really. Like, he just
That's
didn't
the
feel
worst
like
part
her
about
equal.
Like, she couldn't do anything about it,
Yeah.
or unless it was like to just lessen who she was, or like dim her shine.
Right.
But that's such a real story too. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like a lot of women nowadays are going through that because a lot of women are like breadwinners and like just doing their own businesses and their own things, and like it's a reality that kind of everyone faces now because everyone kind of, I mean, not everyone has like an equal plane, but like women are just like pushing at boundaries and like doing a lot with money and career, and so I mean it's a reality.
Yeah, there is a line that I love where this is not verbatim, but it's like, it's not my job to make you feel like a man.
Yeah, that was my favorite
And that
line.
was so, that really resonated with me.
Yeah.
I feel like
so
I
great.
clapped in the movie.
Yeah,
or
you
something.
did.
Yes, bitch. It's not your job.
Yeah. I also love Aquafina.
Yeah,
I
she was
think it was a
hilarious.
great year for her. And then seeing her host SNL and like just have that pride of like being an Asian American
And she's from Queens.
woman. Yeah.
Queens, New York, yes.
Hosting
Woo, woo.
SNL, like trying to get into SNL like years before, and then finally being able to host it. It's just very nice to see her relish in her success.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my favorite movie of the year, no one has seen here, but it's called Bad Times at the El Royale, written, produced, and directed by Drew Goddard, starring Cynthia Erivo, Jeff Bridges, John Hamm, Louis Pullman, who is my old... That's it. Yeah, it was great. It's a movie that takes place in 1960s California / Nevada, and it's a kind of like a dedication to like the neo-noir film classics, and I recommend everyone to watch it.
I did want to see it. I just never had the time at that moment.
It's so good, and it's the same writer and director of Cabin in the Woods,
I didn't see
which
that.
was so good. Oh my gosh, Chris Hemsworth is also in it. The cast is incredible. Yeah, that's my number one. So, yeah. Next up, I want to talk about Black Panther.
Ooh.
So, this might be a little controversial to say. Black Panther barely made my top 10. Yeah, I know. Don't get me wrong. I love the movie. I really did. No, Nicole, why are you reacting that way?
No, go ahead.
No,
I don't
I
wanna,
really would
no,
love that.
I don't
No.
want to.
I do want to know why. Because I do want to know why, actually. It is a great movie.
Okay.
That is without a doubt.
Okay. I'll start. I found it so incredible and so affirming in my existence. Like, it was so huge for the culture. Like, honestly, I can't even get into how much effect it had on the little boys and girls and everywhere in between growing up Black, just seeing these people, like, when they're going over Wakanda and they're like, this is home, and you just, like, the beats are coming through.
The beat, yes,
like,
that's my favorite part.
It's, like, so crazy. I'm just like, yes, we are home. This is our collective home for the diaspora. Like, I think it's so incredible because I've always felt this, like, separation in this Black community. Like, you have, like, you know, Black Americans, you have people who came from the Caribbean, who came from Africa, and they all, like, have their respective culture, and there's sometimes this split separation between the two, or all those identities. But I felt like in Black Panther, we all could exist together in this identity. It was really cool. It's incredible to see a superhero that can take all these shots and not, you know, be affected. And it was there's just so much about it that was incredible. Like, I feel like it was one of the most well done rounded Marvel films.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, a lot of the Marvel films coming out right now, it's just a hodgepodge of different characters, and I feel like it's just a lot of little lines of saying some sassy shit. And now it was just like a very complete story. Like the music, the clothes, everything about it. It was just
Kendrick Lamar did it with the soundtrack.
It was incredible.
He
It was
did
incredible. He's one of the greatest artists of our
He
time.
He really is.
He killed it. He killed the director Ryan Coogler. Killed it.
Yeah. Yes.
It's just
It
was just so good. It was just so good. What you gotta say?
No, I did love it. I really did love it. It was the first time I watched it. It was a very emotional experience for me. I can't explain why, but I was like, I did feel moved, not by the movie itself, but by what it represented, and like hearing a lot of my friends who felt like so empowered by that movie. Is like effective to me. Like it moves me to see the kind of response that it brings out of people and what it stands for. It's beautiful. It's definitely a game changer, and it's definitely like a huge stride for Black cinema, for Marvel, for so many different
superhero
things.
Movies
exactly.
And characters, though, in general. Though.
Exactly.
Because, like, these characters weren't stereotypes either, which is great. Because, like, I feel like in Hollywood, it seems very easy to stereotype people of color and, like, not think about it, not, like...
Yeah.
Like, and they don't do it intentionally. It's, like, very ignorant, but it's still, like, whoa, like, there's something wrong with, like, your character right there. But, like, it's very easy, I think, for Hollywood to stereotype people of color in general. And I just think that the movie was so solid because it didn't. And, like, it really gave people, like, just characters that they could look up to, kind of. And, like, on the posters, there were people, like, really excited because they were like, oh, my God, the superhero looks like me. Like, that's so exciting for so many people. Like, Yeah,
it's very important. What do you think of Michael B. Jordan's character? I totally empathize with him.
Oh, for sure.
Same.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So hot, first of all. Sorry, but he was like that's I love you, David. That's my type. Right there. So hot. Secondary, like he was saying so many things that are relevant.
Absolutely. Exactly.
The themes in the movie were very culturally relevant. The fact that Wakanda, they're like, oh, if we start bringing in refugees, they're going to bring in their problems. Like, that's something that we're facing as a conversation today. The fact that he felt that there was this, like, isolationism and, like, not, like, supporting each other in different communities. Like, I get the sentiment that drove his character. I think it was definitely the best Marvel villain. I'm going to put that out there. I thought he was the best Marvel villain because you really understood his motivations. You could sympathize with the character, but he was also ruthless. Like, he was scary. Like, you were feeling for T'Challa. You were like, oh my God, you're going to get killed for sure. Like, he's going to kill you. He knows how to fucking kill. Like, he was great. He was fucking great.
Yeah, I definitely understood like what he was saying about the whole isolation thing that you're saying too, because I think that's definitely something that comes with so many different cultures between the first generation and second generation, like immigrants and their parents. I don't know. I was with him. I was ready to go where he wanted to go, where that character wanted to go, and I was sad that he met his demise. Because I was like, I'm with you. Like, I see where you're coming from, and we should raise hell. I don't know.
I get the
but
sentiment.
It's a Marvel movie, so maybe not.
Like,
maybe
if you
not.
think of like about a world where they're actually like bringing in military to all these different countries that like, you know, put us under colonial rule, then I think it could be problematic because a lot of these countries have nuclear weapons, and I think they would attack back. Like, I think it would have been a problem. I don't know necessarily if I could go on the whole journey with him, but I understand what motivated him. I understand like what that
like his intention was
him.
Good, but like twisted.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, moving on. Next up, A Star Is Born, directed by Bradley Cooper, starring Lady Gaga. Bradley
that
Cooper.
one. I didn't see that. No, honestly, I haven't seen it yet. I will see it.
Oh my gosh.
I saw it with Barbra Streisand because that was what was available to me on Amazon Prime. But
did you love it?
I actually really enjoyed the Barbra Streisand one.
I believe it.
I thought it was lovely. I think Lady Gaga for sure.
I saw the Judy Garland one.
Ooh, I would love to see
I have that one.
Okay.
I could lend it to you.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Very cute. Yeah, I felt like Barbra Streisand is definitely like Lady Gaga's like godmother. Like she is.
Lady Gaga was perfect for this role.
In the beginning, she sang from The Wizard of Oz. I feel like she did a nod to Judy Garland, though, in the beginning.
Oh, my God. I didn't even pick up on that.
Remember when she was just, like, walking? She was singing, I think it was, like, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Like, I feel like that was a nod to Judy Garland specifically.
That's so beautiful. The first few minutes of that film, like, when the title sequence opens up, with her, like, getting out of her job as a server, waitress, whatever, throwing out trash and her just singing in the alleyway after she threw out her trash. Like, after she threw out trash in her uniform, in her server's outfit, and then it says A Star Is Born. I was like, oh my God, that is so powerful. Because it's like, oh, okay, we're about to, like, go on this huge journey. Like, this woman's life is about to change completely. Oh, yeah, she deserves every kind of praise that she's getting right now.
I thought it was okay. I thought she was good. So really, my issue with the movie is like the whole second half of the movie, or maybe the middle, because like I loved the beginning. I loved like the love story and the connection between the characters in the beginning. But I feel like a part of the movie was just a whole. It was too montagey. Like, they were going through memories and stuff, and I didn't really care because at that point I was like, well, you already saw what they were going through. Why do I need to see a whole montage happening? Like, I didn't care about that part of the movie. So at the end, I started to fall off a little. Like, in the beginning, I was like, this is actually really good. And then as we got closer to the end, I was a little like, I don't know if I like it as much, but I think the cast was great. Like, I loved the whole love story between Bradley Cooper and Gaga in the beginning. Like, I loved them together, but I wasn't crazy about it, like, going deeper into the movie. Yeah.
Bradley Cooper won me over. I thought he did such a good job with his like his whole persona as Jackson Maine, and this like just like this cowboy rock star, just devil may care attitude. He actually got inspiration from Sam Elliott, who plays his older brother in the movie. And Sam Elliott he's also in The Ranch on Netflix, which is...
With the mustache?
Yeah.
He's so sexy.
So
yes, he is.
He's
and that
so
voice.
Sexy. Oh my God.
Bradley Cooper's voice was inspired by Sam Elliott. So it's very fitting that like that he stole his older brother's voice because it actually is inspired by Sam Elliott.
So funny.
Yeah, Sam Elliott is like this very attractive cowboy.
Oh yeah, he's in Grace and Frankie. If any of you
Oh
have watched
yes,
Yeah.
I love Grace and Frankie also.
He's in everything.
Yeah.
He was great.
Because I'm actually watching The Ranch right now on Netflix with Ashton Kutcher, and it's like it's this show full of these ignorant, racist, sexist characters. But I love it. It's a really good show. Very funny. But Sam Elliott's great. Yeah, I thought the music for A Star Is Born is beautiful. Shallow is great. I think it's a very beautiful song with a very beautiful message. But I don't know, the whole like it just seems like it's like missing something with the lyrics, like in the or no.
I get it. Where she's just going,
exactly. It's like, what's going on?
Honestly, I could not agree with you more.
Yeah,
It's so true. I feels unfinished.
Like they couldn't figure out what lyrics to put, so just over the song.
Just emotes. She's like, they were writing the song and they're like, I don't know how to keep going. And she's like, I got this. I'm just going to give it to you with my voice. Like, Lady Gaga. Like, keep working at it. Like, sometimes it takes some time to get to the end. Like,
but like the message of the song is very. I want to think of a better word than beautiful, or another word other than beautiful. It's very emotional.
Yeah.
It's like about these. It's very fitting for what these characters are about to embark on. Like they're out of they're about to, like, their whole lives are about to change. They're getting ready to get out of this feeling of being stuck or complacent, and like they're
pushing forward. They're
exactly.
Feeling comfortable with vulnerability. It feels like they're getting out of feeling this like superficial connection to their, you know, present circumstances and actually like taking a risk.
Exactly.
That's a beautiful message that I think a lot of us can relate to.
And a lot of people were reticent to watching this movie because it is the third movie of A Star is Born in 60 years maybe.
Yeah.
But I think it did the thing. I thought it was
what I like is
fitting,
that they update. Actually, it wasn't the third; it was the fourth.
It was the
even
fourth.
older
You're
one.
right. You're
They
right.
updated it. They updated it for each generation, though, so it's kind of like relevant to each generation that's watching it. And basically, it's like the main characters and the main plot of the story stays the same. So they'll have like the broken man, husband, lover who like pulls this woman out of like nowhere and turns her into a star, kind of thing. So, I mean, it stays relatively, like, similar in just, like, the main point, but it's very relevant to, like, the times, basically, every time it's redone. I thought that was actually kind of sweet. Like, I didn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There is this article from Glamour from Christopher Rosa. He wrote an article about how he watched A Star is Born 8 times because in his eyes, or in his worldviews, that's his self-care. Like, seeing the movie is like a spa day for him, apparently. Wow. Yeah, just like to go through all these emotions and to release all of these like emotions that come from watching the movie makes him feel,
you know what, I relate
refreshed.
To that. I think that's why I saw Crazy Rich Asians so much, because for me it was like, this is the affirmation of like love, like real, it was real dramatic love, but I liked it. I thought it was sweet. Like, I feel like what I liked about going back to another movie,
no, it's fine.
Like, what I liked about the main characters in that movie and their relationship was that Nick, like the main love interest, never kind of wavered about how he felt about his girlfriend. Like, it was pretty like consistent. It was like, I love her, I love her, I love her, I love her, and he never really threw her under the bus. Like, I feel like in rom-coms you always have. No, he didn't. There was that
he invited her to a party,
but still
not telling her what it was gonna be.
She was still gonna have to meet them, like, though.
Yeah, I know, but like, be like, this is the kind of party, this is the kind of event,
right?
Like, I want you to feel comfortable, I want you to feel confident when meeting my family,
right?
And you're like dressed, like, you know,
but
I mean?
He never
dressed like she was like,
right,
going
but
to the
he never dragged her. He
so
never but he never doubted how he felt about her. He just kind of believed like that they would accept her because he accepted her, and like,
absolutely,
it was naive of him maybe, but it wasn't his intention to like throw her under the bus.
No, absolutely, and that's a beautiful thing that, you know, he accepts her for who she was, but let's also be mindful of her reality. Like, it was very intimidating for her.
Totally, but still, like,
Just
he never, but it's not like in a lot of other rom-coms where there's a conflict between them that's like, oh, like, I'm not sure about you, and then they split up for no reason. Like, it was very all based in love in the end.
But I also think that's because the movie is not really about love.
Okay.
I don't know what it's about, really.
She's like, it's not this.
No, what I walk away from the film is like not this feeling of like, oh, love exists. I think it's about like, I mean, what I walked away was like self-acceptance or something. I don't know.
I mean, I felt like it was maybe like what you kind of do for love kind of thing. You know?
Okay.
Like, because at the end, like, she was willing to give up this person that was perfect for her, essentially, because she loved them. So it was rooted in love. She was like, I don't want you to lose your family. Even if it's not romantic comedy or romantic love, it was still rooted in, he needs his family, so you can have him. But this is what happens if, like, you tear us apart. But it was still rooted in love. She was willing to give that up because she loved him, period.
Period, she said.
She's like, conversation done.
Period. Moving on. Next up, we have The Favorite.
Yes. I love The Favorite.
You do? What do you love about it?
I watched it twice.
You did?
I did. I saw it with my friend Karina. The second time, and then the first time I saw it with my friends Giselle and Karen. So what did I love about it? I love period films. I like the costumes. I like them creating this whole setting where I feel immersed in something completely different from the world that I live in. I liked that it was a twist on period films. This director likes to go into the darker, dirtier, more animalistic instincts of people, and you see like this like gross like period film. Like it reminds us of the fact that these people weren't really clean. Like they didn't take regular showers. They didn't have hot water. So it shows like these people are kind of disgusting and they have like gross instincts.
It's a disgusting time.
Yeah, like they're gross. And I they are. So thank God for people who taught them how to wash. So whoever they were. So
wait, was that what this movie was about? Dirty people? It was just about gross people.
It was but also gross inside.
Yeah.
Like, just like, again, like their animalistic instincts.
Like just like dog eat dog.
Yeah.
Doing whatever you can to raise your position in life. So Emma Stone's character, she is someone who was originally someone of status. She was really important, but then her father was a gambler and gambled her to a friend, and then she became basically like his wife or sex slave or something. And then she in some circumstance ends up finding employment at the Queen's castle, and alerts her cousin, who is like the Queen's like most important aide and friend, played by Rachel Weisz. And there's this like a lot of disputes between them because Rachel Weisz very much she's so trusted in the eyes of the Queen, and she protects that relationship that she has with her because it's very beneficial for her, and she kind of can see Emma Stone trying to take her place, basically. So the favorite is really that dispute of like who's going to be the favorite in the Queen's eyes, who's going to be able to raise their stature and keep their position of strength. There's a lot of lesbian scenes in the film. I liked seeing that being portrayed in this era. It was very interesting. Yeah, it went into dark places and it was funny. It was genuinely really hilarious.
Well, on that note, I had a friend who went to a screening of The Favorite, and it was filled with a lot of excuse me, senior citizens. And he said that, oh my goodness, sorry. A lot of them walked out.
Oh, wow.
During the film.
Wow. There was a lot of senior citizens in the viewing that we saw, too. I was wondering I think it was a Tuesday that we went, and I thought it was like senior night because there were a lot of older people. And I remember this older woman came up to, like, I think we were talking about the film, and she's like, what did you think about it?
Yeah.
And I was giving her, like, my analysis of everything that happened. And she's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I would also think it was very interesting. But I don't know if she was sure if she enjoyed it.
Right.
She was just like, it went in places that were surprising.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she was kind of like hinting at how she felt about it a little bit. It was shocking.
Yes.
Because maybe like her generation is a little conservative in a
perhaps.
weird way.
I think because they assume it's a period piece, it's going to be conservative.
Right.
Which is really funny.
Right.
There is a part at the end where the director plays with imagery. With like bunny rabbits,
Really
overlapping the two characters played by Emma Stone and Olivia Colman. And I remember having a conversation with a woman who was in the movie with us. She was older, probably in her 60s, 70s, and she's like, I didn't understand that ending. Did the rabbits eat her?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh wow.
That is what she said.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's really interesting, but I definitely think that the whole homosexual sexuality was a turnoff for the older
older
generations,
people.
which is
Wow.
so interesting.
There was a part where I cackled because she said, "I like her tongue inside me," and I was like,
Yeah.
"Yes,
Yeah,
women pleasure."
Olivia Colman was great. I'm so glad that she won the Golden Globe.
Yeah, I think it
For
was
Best
very well
Supporting Actress.
deserved.
Yeah.
She showed a lot of
Absolutely.
levels in that film, and I thought this whole year in particular is such a great year for women characters
Yeah.
and women actors. Like, you're able to like really delve into different kinds of roles where you're not just being supportive mothers or wives or whatnot. Like, it's going into other struggles that women have faced. So it was really cool.
Nice.
Yes, I really appreciate your Yorgos Lanthimos. He directed The Favorite, but he also directed The Lobster.
Oh, I love that movie so much.
Yeah, and it's very similar
It's
to The
on
Lobster.
Netflix
It's
now if you
just-
haven't seen it.
I have
Yeah.
seen
You've
it. It's
seen
really
it,
weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Very
Oh my god.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, it was one of those films that I'm like, I'm not pressed to see again, but like it was very affecting,
Yeah.
so I know it was good. Like
Yeah.
it stayed with me.
Yeah.
A lot of the things that happened.
They're
in
like
that film.
particular scenes, like with the woman when she would come and like rub herself.
Yes.
on the character. I forgot his name, but like
Colin-
Farrell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like they definitely had like a lot of like scenes that stuck in my head.
Mhm,
That
for
movie,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, that director, he knows how to like really fuck with you.
Yeah.
It's cool.
and is very like includes animals in a lot of his films.
I didn't notice that.
because he also did The Sacred Killing of Deer.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. Next up, the documentary "Won't You Be My Neighbor?"
I love
Roger. Yeah,
Ah, so
Yeah.
sweet.
It was emotional.
I feel like the world needed that
Yeah.
last year.
He's-
I don't even know what to say about it other than like I was bawling the entire time, and I felt
Yeah.
so nice walking out.
I think it was interesting to go into depth about who he was, like how he was studying to be a pastor and all this stuff. Like I grew up watching Mr. Rogers like religiously, so I didn't know that like where he was coming from basically. Like so I like that the movie kind of shined a light on all of like his background and about like how he was growing kind of as a human, like how he dealt with his children and how he just was in his day-to-day life. Like I just appreciated getting to know him and then feeling like validated and like, yeah, he was actually kind of a good person. Like, yeah, that was really sweet. Yeah.
I also watched a lot of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood growing up,
Yeah.
and I was made fun of for it.
Same.
People would say,
Same. That's boring.
yeah,
Why are
all
you
the
watching
time.
this?
I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
people told me it was boring. I think it was great that they did this documentary because to look back at it from this time, I think we're entering into an age where empathy is being treasured much more than it was when we were growing up. I think Mr. Rogers was too good of a human for the time that he was out on the waves. And, like, you know, if you were able to appreciate that message when he was, like, on public access television, that's great. But to be able to, like, look back on it and see how positive and how he honored, like, the journey that children go through in such a gorgeous, beautiful way. Like, it was just so important to have him as a figure and to just like look back at it at this time. Like, you can see how important he was. And I would love to, like, you know, share that with my children now because it was just like so
Same.
beautiful. Like,
Same.
it was just so pure.
Now
It was
they
so
have
pure.
this cartoon. Was it Daniel Rogers' Neighborhood or Daniel's Neighborhood? It's like the little tiger. I tried to show my niece Mr. Rogers, and she heard the song. She's like, "Oh no, it's Daniel Tiger." She's like, "Daniel Tiger." I'm like, "No, it's Mr. Rogers." And then eventually she was like, "Bye, Titi." She left me.
Bye,
She left me
Titi.
alone with Mr. Rogers, and I was like, "I want to
Wow.
share this with you. Come back." But like they hear the song now and they associate it with the cartoon of Daniel Tiger, and they're trying to take Daniel Tiger and like basically make that like the new Mr. Rogers kind of.
okay.
But I don't think they deal with the subjects that Mr. Rogers dealt with.
I see.
Like
yeah.
on the show, I think it's very like, here are your basics, ABCs. Mr. Rogers was like earth shattering because he was like, this is war, this is what a minute looks like,
this is racism.
this is racism. Like, he was dealing with like heavy stuff, but in a way that kids could understand. And like, I don't know, he was just like groundbreaking. I think
someone who actually cared to like talk to kids about this, because kids also deserve like to learn about these things at that age. You know what I mean?
Not to be dismissed, kind of like you're little. Like, it was like, you want to know what this is? Cool. Like, this is how we can teach them, kind of thing. Yeah.
That was definitely my favorite documentary of the year.
I like the McQueen documentary.
McQueen was great. McQueen was very beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, Mr. Rogers was better, but it was so good. I love the behind the scenes.
I did not like the Whitney documentary.
No,
and I know we're
so
talking
bad,
about like the best movies of the year, but I really feel let down by that Whitney documentary, and it's such a shame because she deserves better.
What was wrong about it?
Oh my goodness.
They were like recycling a lot of the same clip and a lot of the same story that we all know. Like, they basically would just play it was like a clip of her when she was younger in church or something, and they would show like the same picture. Like, it wasn't like a news story about Whitney. It was like the same story, and then like it was kind of repetitive throughout the movie. They didn't do her any justice, honestly.
They did
That's
not.
a shame.
Not even in the ugly parts. They didn't go into it in a way. It just wasn't good. Like, it was done really poorly.
Yeah, in my eyes, it seems like the way they framed it was like all of these bad things happened to her because she had I can't even go into it, but basically it for me it was a very homophobic kind of point of view.
Oh wow.
Yeah. From her family members, especially though.
Such a shame.
So, can we talk about this? I mean, do people know about Robin and?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's gonna be like.
Yeah, basically, like, they were discussing like one of the relationships with one of her best friends. How like Whitney was gay, and basically her family like didn't accept it. So basically, the only good person for her in her life, like, they didn't accept her because she was gay, and like openly and outwardly in the documentary, like, it's kind of like, no, she's from the devil kind of thing. But like, they didn't really dive into it in a way that was like, I think, helpful as a viewer to explain her story. I think it was just like, we cut her off.
People
would
basically say like, I don't know who that is.
Yeah,
like,
that
and
too.
This was like a woman who went on tour with Whitney for most of her career
Who kept
until
her
she got
safe,
married to Bobby Brown.
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah.
It was the same story. Basically, Bobby Brown ruined her life. The end. And like, they mentioned Robin, but like, it didn't add to her story at all, I think.
And
that's unfortunate.
I just hate that like Whitney is just like, people just look at her as like this huge tragedy, and it is very sad, and it is very tragic what happened to her, but how about something that also celebrates what she did? Like, there's nothing that really celebrates her impact on the music industry.
They didn't spend time on that either. Oh my gosh,
it's really heartbreaking. I was very sad.
It was basically like watching a TMZ report for 2 hours.
Exactly. And Bobby Brown was in it, and I don't know. I just feel like it's not fair.
Wasn't good. Yeah, it wasn't good. Like, I left the theater pretty upset. I was like, wow, this was really done poorly. Like, why did I watch this?
Yeah. But next
on that note,
we're happy.
I want to talk about Mary Poppins Return.
Mary Poppins. I fell asleep.
I loved it.
Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins.
Stop it. I love Mary Poppins. I love how it makes me feel. I love the whole, like, anything can happen. Life is silly. We can be.
I can't comment on this movie.
Just let it run wild. This movie makes me feel like anything is possible.
Wait, you were awake for this movie, though, so you can definitely comment.
I have a lot to say.
I wasn't even awake for Meryl Streep, so there you go.
It was amazing.
Mary Poppins.
Do you have?
I am the only one that likes this movie between the three of us.
Yeah.
But I mean, I
So
I just love how it makes me feel.
I'm not upset. I don't feel like I wasted my time. I don't feel like, oh, they stole money from me. I'm not coming from that place. I think there were very good things about the movie. I think Emily Blunt was a terrific Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. I would be happy to bring kids to this movie. I think there was a lot of color. There was a lot of music. I think my biggest problem was the fact that it didn't feel like it was a film in its own right or a story in its own right. It felt like they were just trying to they picked apart all the things that were good about the original film and they tried to replicate what was good about it instead of making something that was good in its own story, like creating a story that was just as impactful. There's just like a lot of scenes that just seemed too reminiscent of the original work but weren't as good.
It
that's
follows
sad.
the exact
That's so
it follows
sad.
the exact same formula.
I was just like ready. What it made me want to do is just go and see the original one. I was like, oh, I have that VHS at home. I want to go watch that right now because like I remember how much it affected me. And no disrespect to my man Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Mary Poppins.
He,
You know what?
fantastic. And I read a New York Times article review of him doing Hamilton in Puerto Rico, and they're saying that he was incredible. That he's gotten better as a dancer singer since he was last on Broadway with the Hamilton. So great. However, I felt like they photoshopped the fuck out of his face. Like I felt like they were trying to take
makeup.
They just made him so clean.
Really?
Like it just seemed like he didn't have a scar ever in his life, and I was just like,
It's like, whose face is this?
yeah, it just like didn't feel real to me. It was just like so like cartoonish, like how he was presented in the film, and I felt like they were forcing this like love relationship between him and the bank girl, like the bank's daughter, aunt, whatever.
Okay, yeah.
She and him, like, it just felt forced.
Emily Mortimer, yes.
Yeah, I don't like when they try to, like,
There's
make
no
some, like,
chemistry.
like, there's just no chemistry there. Like, why are you forcing these two people to be together just because they're both single? Like, I don't understand.
Oh.
Like they don't like each other.
That's what you get. You know what? When I saw that, it was like, I felt like Lin-Manuel was saying, we here. Like, we are making our way.
Yeah.
And I'm doing Cockney impressions.
It was not good. It was so, that's the one. It was so bad.
As I
And then the
live and
laughing.
breathe.
You can't forget the laughing
As
after.
I live and breathe.
Every time.
So good.
No, every time I open my eyes,
"We
like,
here.
honestly. Ugh.
I am here playing,
I
a
have to
man
watch it
from
again.
England during the the turn of the
70s.
century. Is it the 1970s?
It's the 70s.
No way.
It's definitely
That
the
was the
70s.
70s?
Yes,
That's
that
the
was
turn of
the
the
70s.
century. Okay, fine.
Bring it to the mic.
You know what?
That was the 70s.
You know what?
That was
that
the
is
70s.
weird.
I am a man from Dominican Republic making my
He's
way
Puerto Rican,
into...
actually.
Okay, is he?
He is.
But he wrote about Dominican Republic
In
in
the Heights. He's
That's
Puerto Rican.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a Puerto Rican man making my way into like a story from 1970s England, and I have a
That didn't
Cockney
feel like the
accent.
1970s,
Yeah.
honestly. I'm confused.
Anyways,
It was
I
so
love.
I don't know if I have to
love-
watch
I
this
love
again.
Ben
Never mind.
Whishaw. Ben Whishaw was great. I love the kids. I love Emily Mortimer. I love the colors. The music, I will admit, not as good as the original.
Nope.
And I think it's something to say that it's definitely a choice that Julie Andrews was not in it. I think she definitely
Yeah.
turned
She was
down
like,
any opportunity
this is
to
a
be
bad
in
idea.
it.
Yeah.
Which breaks my heart because I love Julie Andrews
Yeah.
and I would have loved to have seen her.
Mm-hmm.
But Dick Van Dyke was so charming and
He's
so
always so charming, though.
funny.
I love him.
So
I
cute.
do. He's great. The
Yeah.
source material is just so perfect, and I feel like they just felt so reliant on it. And
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, that's a problem.
you gotta make it your own. Like,
Yeah.
modernize
Especially
it.
now. Like, nobody wants to go to see the same movie, honestly.
Mhm.
Like,
I mean,
who wants
My
that?
friend made a good point in saying that this is supposed to follow the same storyline from the original, meaning the Banks children who are now adults are the same Banks children from the original, but just grown up 40 years later. Meaning, so it's still the 1970s from when the first Mary Poppins was. You know what I mean?
I think the first Mary Poppins is like the 50s, 40, like late 40s.
Yeah, but
50s?
even then, if it's the same characters,
Yeah.
because it's supposed to be the same characters, the father and his sister.
They're the the children grown up.
Right. It's supposed to be in the 1990s then. You know what I mean?
Is it?
Yeah, because if it's 40 years later.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was the
Because
I want to look
it's
this up
the
real
same-
quick.
I'm
Basically,
so
if it's the
confused.
same characters, it should not be the same slump. Like, it
Yeah.
should not be the
Yeah.
same time period.
Yeah.
But it is.
Yeah,
That's
it
bizarre.
felt
That's
it
weird.
felt this like the exact same world. I was
Yeah,
like, how are they
like,
still
we are
lighting up
in a
lanterns this
time
way?
warp.
Like,
Yeah.
no electricity. Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, so we are running out of time, but I also want to bring light to Avengers Infinity War.
Ugh.
Yeah, I like what?
I am here for it. Okay?
I loved the end.
It.
I love the end. When I first saw it, everyone at the theater went at the end, like all together.
I mean,
it was like
we-
one
we
gasp.
all know
Like
that
it was
they're
so
not
great.
dead.
We do know
It
this,
feels
but it
cheap
was
to
so
me.
funny.
It feels
I thought
fucking
it was
cheap to me.
hilarious. I thought it was hilarious. I was like, yes, all you nerds are so disappointed.
I
Right?
felt like they stole something from me. I was like, why are you taking me on this journey? It's like there was
so
a
funny.
a
It's so fun.
There was a TV show that was popular in the 80s or 90s where they were like in this hospital, and like the last episode, you find out the hospital is in snow globe. That's how I felt.
great.
Like, it was like,
Sounds like Krampus.
like, why are you taking us here?
We still didn't see that.
All right, next up, Vice. No one has seen
I
it.
haven't seen
It's
it.
amazing. It's great. Christian Bale terrifies me, but he's a great actor. Amy Adams, love her. Roma,
Oh,
seen
incredible.
that still.
Incredible.
Incredible. I wish it wasn't in black
on
and white.
Netflix.
I have to see it.
I wish it wasn't in black and white because it's supposed to be 1970s Mexico, which I think would have been beautiful visually to show in color. But moving on, Roma is beautiful. Black Klansman, I think
That
that's
was
my
good.
second
Great.
favorite
That was a solid
movie of the
movie.
year.
My favorite Spike Lee film to date.
Absolutely.
I really liked
Such
it.
a great cast. Ah, so clever. Love that. Overlord. Has
Didn't
anyone
see that.
seen it?
Mm-mm.
It's so fun. It reminds you of a Quentin Tarantino film. Yeah. That is our top, I think that's like 12. I have a list of a lot of movies that I also loved last year.
Are you going down the list?
I just want to say a shout out to like
There are like 30 movies
Dumpling.
on there.
Love
Dumpling was good. I like
Dumpling
that.
is
That was
really
cute.
good.
That was cute.
A Quiet Place. Which
Can't watch
I
that.
love. Mamma Mia, Here We Go.
That was
Again.
actually done really well because the first movie wasn't too great. The
I
second
did not
movie,
enjoy the first one.
The second movie, I feel
You're
like
not-
they
you
learned
were-
they learned from the mistakes of the
definitely
first
did.
movie and fixed it.
I
It was
appreciate
awesome.
growth. I will watch
Yeah.
it
To
eventually.
To All the Boys I Loved Before.
Amazing.
love that.
Amazing.
Yes.
Yes.
American Animals. And in the Apocalypse, Vox Lux, The New Halloween, Spider-Man Into the Universe,
Yes.
Hereditary. There's just too much that I love. Skate Kitchen. Yeah, there's all of these movies that I love. Thank you for joining me today, Nicole. Thank you for joining me today, Tatiana. That is the Cinephiles Club 2018 wrap up. Please follow us on Instagram or Facebook. Cinephiles Club is a place for people to come and meet, to plan to get together to watch the movies because I feel like that is a dying art form, and I want to keep
It's
that.
dying.
I feel like people are not going to the movies as much anymore.
Okay, that's fair. Like,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're watching Netflix.
People are downloading movies illegally.
I mean, I enjoy watching films from the comfort of my couch, but I get it.
Yeah,
I get
but
it.
it's such a beautiful thing for people to come together.
Yes.
And I love it. So thank you for being here with me today. I am Karen.
I'm Nicole.
Ooh, I'm Tatiana.
Thank you and good night.
We're a girl group.